Most service business owners hit six figures and then hit a wall so hard it feels like running face first into a brick building. You're working 70-hour weeks, your profit margins are shrinking, and you're one sick day away from everything just falling apart. Today, I'm showing you the framework that separates businesses that scale from businesses that stall. No more hustle porn or motivational bullshit. The actual systems that take service businesses past six figures without burning out. The mindset shift I reveal at the end of this is the real reason why 77% of service businesses never escape the six-figure plateau. Here's the brutal truth. If you can't take a 2-week vacation without your business imploding, you don't own a business. You're running a business that owns you. I see this everywhere, guys. Consultants, making $150,000 a year, but working themselves to death. Agencies that are hitting $200,000 in revenue, but the owner is answering emails at midnight. Contractors who are pulling in $300,000 but can't hire anybody because nobody does it like they do. Sound familiar? You're not alone, but you're definitely doing it wrong. McKinsey studied service-based businesses, guys, and found that only 23% successfully scale past $500,000 without the founder just completely burning out. The other 77% either plateau, burn out, or go backwards. But here's the kicker. The ones that break through aren't working harder. They're working completely different. You want to know what every six-figure service business desperately needs to scale? Predictable lead flow. Without consistent leads coming in, you're always one client away from a revenue crisis. That's why I built a system that generates leads automatically for service-based businesses. Click the link for the free training. I'll show you the same digital leasing strategy that brings me in over $41,000 per month. And my students are making $2,000 to $6,000 a month with this same system. And most of them started exactly where you find yourself right now. But first, let me show you the real framework that changes everything. The real problem with service business scaling. Most people think scaling means hiring more people. Wrong. Dead fucking wrong. You're trying to scale yourself instead of scaling your methods. You'll just spend more money to get the same chaotic results. The real problem is that most service-based business owners are addicted to being needed. They've built their entire identity around being the person who saves the day, fixes the problem, and delivers the magic for their team. It feels good in the moment, guys, but it's business suicide in the long run. I used to do this myself. Every client wanted to talk to Josh. Every project needed my personal touch. Every emergency required my immediate attention. I was making good money, but I was also slowly dying inside. One day, I realized I wasn't running a business. I was running a very expensive consulting practice that happened to have my name on it. That's when everything changed. I stopped trying to be the hero and I started building systems that could be heroes without me. Strategy number 1, stop selling time, start selling transformations. This is where most service providers completely lose the plot, guys. They're charging by the hour when they should be charging for the outcome. When you sell time, you're basically telling clients that your value is measured by how many hours you physically work. You're selling effort when you should be selling outcomes. It's like selling ingredients instead of the mill. Think about it like this. Would you rather pay a plumber $100 per hour to potentially fix your leak or $500 to guarantee that your pipe will never leak again? The smart money is always on guaranteed outcomes. The difference is when you sell time, clients focus on cost. But when you sell transformations, clients focus on value, and people will pay almost anything for guaranteed value. So instead of, I'll work 20 hours on your marketing, say, I'll get you 50 qualified leads per month. Instead of, I'll spend 3 days on your roof, say, I'll guarantee your roof won't leak for the next 10 years. You're not changing what you do. You're changing how you package what you do. Strategy number 2, build your signature system. Every scalable service business has one thing in common, a repeatable system that delivers consistent results. Your business runs on hope, prayer, and whatever you remember from last time, right? That's not a system. That's a recipe for disaster. This is where most people get stuck. They think their industry is too complex or they're too customized for systems. Bullshit, okay? I've seen systems work for everything from heart surgery to rocket launches. If NASA can systematize putting humans in space, you can systematize whatever you're doing. The key is breaking your service into repeatable modules, right? Like Tony Robbins, guys, doesn't give everybody completely different advice. He has a system. He identifies limiting beliefs, right? He installs new patterns. He creates accountability structures. Same system, different applications. That's how he's built a $500 million a year business around personal development. The specifics don't matter as much as having a documented, repeatable process that everybody on your team can follow. Strategy number 3, build teams that multiply your skills. Remember that strategy most service business owners refuse to do? This is it, right? Here's where most service business owners get scaling completely backwards. You're trying to clone yourself when you should be building a superhero team. A roofer who goes and tries to hire another roofer just like him, right? Or an HVAC guy looks for somebody with his exact experience. Or the plumber who wants to clone his 20 years of experience. That's impossible and expensive as hell. You'll never find someone with your exact skills, your work ethic, and problem-solving ability. And even if you could, you can't afford to pay them what they're worth. The secret is building complementary teams, okay? Not competing teams. You don't need another master electrician. You need somebody great at scheduling, somebody who can handle estimates, somebody who can excel at customer communication, and maybe one solid apprentice who can handle the routine work while you focus on the complex problems, right? Most contractors are trying to do everything: sales, project management, skilled labor, customer service, and their bookkeeping, right? That's like trying to be the quarterback, the coach, the general manager, and the team owner all at once. You're going to burn out before you even break through. The goal here is to become the expert who solves the hard problems while your team handles everything that doesn't require your specific expertise. So you diagnose the complex electrical issues while somebody else pulls the permits and orders the materials, right? You design that HVAC solution while somebody else handles the installation and the follow-up. You create the marketing strategy while somebody else manages the campaigns and reports the results to you. Mastering strategic delegation. Here's where most business owners completely fuck up delegation. They delegate like they're babysitting instead of team building. They try to clone themselves instead of building complementary skills, right, around their core genius. You don't need to hire another you, okay? You need to hire people who are better than you at things you shouldn't be doing anyway. If you're spending time on bookkeeping, customer service, or basic project management, you're wasting your most valuable resource. Your strategic thinking, right? I learned this the hard way. I tried to hire junior versions of myself to handle client work. It was a disaster. They couldn't think like me, sell like me, or solve problems like me. But they also didn't need to. Instead, I hired specialists, someone amazing at project management, somebody brilliant at client communication, somebody who could execute strategies better than me, even if they couldn't create them, right? And then suddenly, my role shifted from doing everything to orchestrating outcomes. The secret is creating clear handoff points between your genius zone and everybody else's execution zone, okay? You design the strategy, they implement it. You close the deal, they deliver the service. You solve the complex problems, they handle the routine maintenance. Document not just what needs to be done, but what success looks like. Instead of respond to customer emails, say respond to customer emails within 2 hours during business days using our standard templates and escalate any complaints that you get to management immediately, okay? Create checkpoints and review processes, weekly team meetings to review what's working and what's not, monthly system reviews to identify improvement opportunities. Train your team on the why behind the systems, not just the how. When people understand the purpose, they're more likely to follow the process and suggest improvements to you. Building revenue that doesn't require your presence. This is the ultimate goal of any scalable service business, right? Revenue that flows whether you're working or not. You're chasing dollars like a dog chasing its tail, right? Lots of motion, guys, zero progress, right? The key here is creating assets that generate ongoing value, okay? Your service business can be the front door to much bigger opportunities for you. Every client relationship is a chance to create ongoing revenue streams that compound over time. Most service businesses are essentially starting from scratch every single month. No matter how much money you made last month, this month you're back to zero unless you find new work. That's not a business model. That's a monthly crisis. The businesses that break through create multiple revenue streams that feed each other. The mindset shift that changed everything. Here's the hardest part of scaling a service business: getting your ego completely out of the way, okay? Because your ego is cock blocking your income. Most service providers are addicted to being indispensable. They love being the person that everybody calls for help. They get a rush, right, from being that hero who saves the day. But being indispensable is the enemy of scale. So every time you solve a problem personally, you miss an opportunity to build a system that solves it automatically. Every time you handle a client crisis yourself, you prevent your team from developing a problem-solving skill, right? The goal here isn't to make yourself unnecessary. It's to make yourself irreplaceable at the things that actually matter. Strategy, right? Vision, key relationships, major decisions. Everything else should flow through the system and people who are better at execution than you'll ever be. This requires a fundamental identity shift. You stop being the person who does the work and start being the person who designs how the work gets done. You stop being the star player and start being the coach who develops star players. It's scary as hell at first, and I get it. What if the clients don't want to work with your team? What if your systems don't deliver the same results? What if people realize they don't actually need you? But here's the reality. Clients don't really want to work with you personally, okay? They want results. If your system and your team can deliver better results more consistently, clients will actually prefer to work with them, okay? Why most service-based businesses never escape the 9-to-5 plateau. The brutal truth is that most service business owners are their own worst enemies. They say they want to scale, but they're not willing to give up control. They complain about working too much, but they won't delegate meaningful responsibilities. Your business is like a really expensive hobby that just pays the bills. The root cause here is almost always the founder's relationship with control. They've convinced themselves that they're the only person who can deliver quality results. They've built their entire identity around being needed. Breaking through requires admitting that your way of doing things might not be the only way, or even the best way at that, right? It requires trusting other people to represent your brand and deliver your promises. Most people aren't willing to make that leap. They'd rather stay small and in control than get big and have to trust others. That's why 77% of service businesses never scale past the founder's personal capacity. If you've made it this far, you're probably realizing that scaling a service business isn't about working harder or hiring more people. It's about building systems that create predictable outcomes without your consistent involvement. The businesses that break through the six-figure plateau all have one thing in common. They stopped trading time for money and started building assets that generate ongoing value. Some build software platforms. Some create certification programs. Some develop licensing models, right? Some build digital leasing portfolios that generate leads automatically. The specific strategy matters less than the underlying principle. You have to build something that works without you being personally involved in every single transaction. That's exactly why I teach my free training. Here's the reality. Every service business that scales past six figures has solved one critical problem: predictable lead generation. Without consistent leads, you're stuck chasing referrals, begging for word of mouth, and praying that your phone rings. I'll show you how to build digital assets that generate leads for service businesses automatically. Predictable lead flow that turns into predictable revenue. My students are using this system to build six-figure businesses that run without them. They're not grinding 70-hour weeks or burning out trying to find their next client. They've built something that generates qualified leads whether they're working or sleeping. You can spend another year trying to scale without predictable leads, or you can learn the system that's already working for thousands of service-based business owners around the world. Click the link for your free training and let me show you how to build lead generation machine that takes your service-based business past six figures. The choice is yours. Stay stuck in the time for money trap or build something that pays you whether you're working or not.